at Melinda's Art Space. You have to excuse my voice, I'm a bit hoarse today, or maybe I just sound scary for Halloween. It's spring here in Australia and the pollen is out in Poland, I can't even talk, is out in force, and apparently it wants to live in my throat and make me feel like crap. My eyes are watering, my nose is running, so if you hear sniffling and that, yeah, well, spring is upon us. Spring has sprung. Okay, so doing an art journal page today, working in my altered wine book. Yes, I keep whining about my wine book. I'm nearly finished. But seriously, every time I flip through the book, I find more pages I haven't done. I think I'm nearly there, and then I find another 10 pages. I think little fairies are putting pages in my book when I'm not looking. I've been working on this book for possibly 3 years. It's now split into 2 books because I absolutely wrecked the book. I love working in altered books, but sometimes I'm just too rough on them. Okay, so just giving the page a coat of gesso. That's just Montmark gesso. This was going to be a video for my collab, but the page didn't work out as I liked, so I decided to put it up as an art journal page gone wrong. So I grabbed some of my chipboard shapes I want to use as a stencil, because they're really cool when you spray over the top of them, because they are thick enough to sit there, heavy enough to sit there and be a stencil. And I wanted a moon, and I couldn't be bothered getting up and getting a chipboard moon, so that stamp was sitting on my desk, so it got thrown on the page as well. So using an ink spray, I don't quite know the brand of the ink spray. It's fairly old, and I don't know whether it's available. I got them on clearance. Everything in my stash is old. So it was fun effect. Excuse my big head and my grey hairs. I must go do something about that grey hair. I didn't like how it was beading up on the gesso. I don't know, for some reason, that spray and the gesso just didn't like each other. And that's one thing about mixed media, is some medias mix really well and like each other, and some medias, like gesso and this ink particularly, did not nicely go together. So I left this page for like 2 days, and this ink still wasn't dried on top of the gesso for some particular reason. It just wouldn't dry. I didn't particularly like the effect. I wanted it completely black in the background, with the white shining through. I really didn't know where I was going with this page, but I thought I'd show you a different way to use the chipboard. It dried super quick on the chipboard. I've used this spray on paper and it's dried super well. It's just, it didn't like the gesso. So I decided, here we go, more experimenting. Let's whack it with some hairspray to hopefully seal it, because I wanted to put something over the top of it. So usually hairspray seals everything, but unfortunately this time it didn't quite work. I don't know what is up with the ink spray. I've decided I can't use it with gesso. I just have to use it on plain paper to finish it up. So then I decided, right, I'll have to put some clear gesso over the top, but for some reason it was running. For some reason the hairspray didn't set it, and that spray is water reactive, so I couldn't do it with the paintbrush. So I grabbed my small roller and started rolling it on, because I thought that would be better than painting it on with a paintbrush. So the clear gesso is a homemade gesso from PVA glue, water, and a white powder called marble dust, or it does have a technical name. You can Google the recipe on YouTube. I do need to make some more, actually. I'm nearly out. I put in one of my sauce bottles and it's worked really well. Again, that's about 3 years old, so it does last a while. So just giving that a good old dry, and basically what the clear gesso does is it gives your piece of paper a bit of what we call tooth, and that's what the marble dust does. So it gives it a bit of a rough surface, and it also seals underneath, because even though, for some reason, even though the white school glue is waterproof and there's water and there's marble dust, for some reason it seals a layer underneath. So I was able to go in with some Crayola twistables, some Montmark twistables, very similar to gesso. Excuse that big truck that just went bang. And I wanted to add some colour to the background. So as I said, this journal page didn't turn out, or it wasn't going down the way that my head has envisioned it. So I can't even talk. I don't know, Poland is just annoying me lately. But I also wanted to still show you that even though an art journal page doesn't go down the track that you're wanting, you can still make a decent page out of it. For me, art journaling is all about the process, the sitting down, the taking time out, the playing, the getting dirty, then the end result. If I don't like the end result, who cares? I love just the process. And sometimes I especially like the process when it's not going right. I'll just keep throwing stuff at the page until eventually I stop and get really, really annoyed with it, or I actually make something decent. So that one is actually a paint stick I'm using as well. So I just wanted to get some orange and sort of Halloween-y colours. And because these colours are translucent, I was able to layer on top of the clear gesso, on top of the ink, which makes them look really, really cool. I was trying to avoid the spiderweb, the ghosts, that I wanted to stay white, so I was putting the colour on all the other places. So just doing a bit of border with that oily paint stick. I got that in a class kit a couple of years ago. I'm trying this year, and the end of this year, the end of 2018 and into 2019, is to use up a lot of my supplies. I have a lot that I've bought and forgotten about, packed away, moved house, and rediscovering. So that is my aim for the rest of this year, early next year, so not to buy so much stuff. Let's see how we go with that, and use up a lot of older stuff. But seriously, some supplies take huge amounts of time to use up. I'm finding that you can use it, and it's still going good. Maybe I'll gift some of the stuff on that I don't really want anymore, and then I can have new stuff to play with. So just drying that page off, and then I decided it needs something else on the page. I was semi-happy with the background. Give me your opinion. Do you like it or don't? If you don't like it, I don't mind you saying it. Be honest. So I got my die cutter out because I wanted to put something on the top, but I wanted it to be quite simple because I did want that background to stand out. So I grabbed some of my Halloween dies from that lovely overseas place that everybody shops at, but nobody likes to mention on YouTube anymore. And these are dies all from last year. So I've got the haunted house, we've got this one. I love this one with the gate and the fence and the ghost. I've used this one quite often, but the gate and the fence, because there is quite a lot of detail in them, do get a bit stuck and sometimes get torn. I am working on a magnetic plate that I got from Spotlight from my Cuttlebug machine, and it works brilliantly. I didn't like to use dies before I had a magnetic plate, and now I love my die cutting machine. It's just lovely to hold the dies in place while you're shoving it through the machine. So just die cutting those. My die cut machine is quite old and still going strong. I was tossing up the other day, I've actually broken one of my C plates, but now I can use the magnetic plate instead of the C plate. And I was tossing up whether to buy a new C plate, which was about $25, $30, or actually get a new machine, which I can get for about $40 when Kaiser Craft has a half price sale. But I decided to buy the magnetic plate, which I wanted anyway, and it's working quite well. So I kept my little machine. So just, don't know, when I die cut, I tend to die cut more than I think I'll want because I really don't know what I will need. So I just decided to do a couple bit more fence pieces and another tombstone just to use up the small pieces of paper. So this paper is not cardstock, but it's not photocopy paper, it's somewhere in between. So it's a bit heavier than your normal photocopy paper, but it's not heavy cardstock either. It's offcuts from what I package my stuff for work, for my business with. So I've got like a huge stack of it, so I don't mind using it up. So then the die cut machine goes away and I bring the art journal page back in. So I sort of want to make a scene down the bottom. That was my thinking. So I do procrastinate here and move these shapes around and around. I often do this until I want to get it perfect, and then I go to take it off and stick it, and it doesn't work out perfect anyway. I don't put them back in exactly the same spot. I'm trying to channel the stink and plonk, stick and plonk method. So you stick as you go and not so fussed about it, but we're still getting there. I'm a bit of a procrastinator when it comes to this. Sometimes I'll just throw stuff on the page, other days I'll move it around to about 20 different spots like I did with this one and keep going. So this art journal page took me, I've done this down to about 12 minutes. So it took me probably about an hour and a half maybe to do, because I have sped it up and with the drying time. So some of my art journal pages do take a while. So I'm sort of happy with that now. Oh no, still fiddling, still adding gates. Trying to make it not look symmetrical, but make it look good. I don't know. I was in a procrastinating mood. I love the ghost half up in the moon. It makes him really pop out. So I love Halloween. I haven't done much for Halloween this year. I just Life grabbed me last year with Halloween as well, and I just didn't get as much done as I wanted. So just grabbing some Liquitex matte gel medium, my favourite matte gel medium, the most expensive matte gel medium you can find. Excuse me, my throat is being nasty today with the pollen around. So just giving a good coat underneath and a good coat over the top. Because I have gelatos or the waxy crayon, sometimes it's a bit hard to stick stuff on top of it, so just giving it a good old coat. And try not to go over it so many times to pick up the gel medium, because it will water reactivate again. That's sometimes a problem with mixed media or art journal pages, is you want to use different medias on it, and the layers sometimes get muddy and don't stay the way you want them to stay. Especially if you're using water-based mediums, especially with the glue. So that you can see the glue is going on, it goes on white and then it dries clear. So to get no bubbles, and the top of this house, oh, was it this one or another one I was using? It kept coming down. So just giving it a good coat over everything. That seals it in as well, and also seal in the colour behind it as well. And excuse my really dirty paintbrush. It is my favourite paintbrush, and I gravitate to it every time for liquid matte medium. It's actually a water brush, but the barrel of the water brush has got so gunky with water and dirty water. It's just, but the tip of it's still fine, so I still use it. So just drying that off, and I will leave you with some still photos at the end of what it looks like. It's growing on me. I'm not 100% sold on it yet, but let me know what you think. Is it a fail, and do I stick the pages together and never look at it again? Or do I flip through my journal and go, yep, I did that. Not my best, but I like little elements of it, let me say that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic Halloween. I will catch you next time. Bye for now.